All right, here are 30 low-key changes I've made to my studio workflow that have made a massive difference. Some of these are how I think, some are how I work, some are literally where I put my cables, but they've all made me better. So let's get into it. My starting template already has my favorite metering tools preloaded. I've got an oscilloscope, span, metric AB. Then I also combine some of these with custom hotkeys. So when I press S, span opens on my screen. I have another hotkey that flips metric AB to the reference track. I have another that when I press it, it immediately puts my entire song into mono so I can reference. I also have a hotkey that opens up this Max for Live device, which is maybe the coolest one I've seen in a long time. This is called Alphil, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's super cheap and it allows you to organize your favorite plugins into this one pop-up window. All I need to do is click the one I want to use and boom, it's on my channel. Next, my starting template does have return channels for reverb and delay. This allows me to quickly get effects while I'm working so things don't have to sound dry as a bone. I've also set up channel defaults for my audio and MIDI tracks. You can have them load with whatever plugins on there from the start. All right, let's switch gears and talk about some other stuff. I absolutely love MIDI knobs for real-time automation. This is a MIDI twister I've had for years. It's great for performing sweeps or live effects. For me, it just feels more natural than programming dots on the screen. Another huge help on the mixing side has been Sound ID Reference. This software calibrates these speakers and fixes some of the inconsistencies my room has. When I flip these on, it makes such a big difference. You could even take this same calibration concept and apply it to headphones. If you haven't already, take advantage of a second screen. I always find it really helpful to keep some of my metering plugins on my master channel on that second screen so I can continue producing while taking in that real-time visual feedback. Next one up on the list is this chair I'm sitting in. Now, it doesn't have to be this make and model, but get yourself a comfortable chair. It will allow you to spend more time in the studio doing what you love. All right, let's move on to some mindset changes. I will plan my sessions before I ever open the DAW. Look, if I just sit down to work on music, I am that person that would get nothing done. Plan for what needs to get done next in your song. Like, listen to it, take notes, and then go attack. Your session just won't run itself. Now, let's combine that with the next one. This has made a massive difference, not just for myself, but the many, many students I've worked with too, and that is splitting up your production sessions. Writing is emotion, producing is decision-making, sound design is experimentation, and then trying to do all of this at the same time, total chaos. So we're not done. Let's continue down this path. Try and give yourself dedicated writing days. Create your own writing camp where you just sit down for 2 or 3 days and crank out as many ideas as you can. Afterwards, go listen through all of them, and I guarantee you there's gold in there. But this takes the pressure off you from having to write great ideas on the spot. A weird one that has worked well for me is I stopped listening to my songs between sessions. I would burn out on my own ideas because I'd listened to them 1,000 times. Now I can come back with fresh ears and a real perspective. So committing to audio earlier in my process, which used to scare the shit out of me, has made a massive difference as time has gone on here. I was someone who always wanted to endlessly tweak sounds, but bouncing synths has forced me to make decisions faster and just move on. And being real, now that I've been doing this for quite some time, I don't think I'm missing out on anything. I've gotten so used to this process. This next one is a website that really helped me with ear training. It's called Sound Gym. They've gamified this entire process. It'll teach you how to hear compression, specific frequencies in a sound or a mix, and much, much more. They do have a free model that lets you play a couple games a day, but look for Black Friday. They put this thing on sale and it's pretty cheap. Quick timeout to mention we have just sold out all of our classes for 2025 here at Cosmic Academy. If you want to get first dibs at one of the seats for an early 2026 class, you could fill out an application. It is pinned in the comments below. One of the biggest returns as an artist is to build a custom sound library. These are sounds that you've made, remade from tutorials, or even just presets you find. But organize and put them in your own system of folders, and when you write, you're able to just pull from the sounds you already know and love. When it comes to drums, creating racks is a game changer. Think kicks, hats, claps. Just throw a bunch of them on a drum rack, program the MIDI notes, and quickly cycle through to hear these samples in real time, find the one that sounds best. Next, let's talk about referencing. Create a playlist on whatever streaming platform you use, and anytime you hear one of those songs you're inspired by, toss it in there. And if you want to take this one step further, create a folder of reference tracks that you can use in the DAW. This could be mix references or even arrangement references. Have these organized beforehand, and when you need to compare, they're here for you. A massively underrated move is to color your projects the same way every time. So for example, my drums are red, effects are always purple, leads are gonna be green, bass is blue, vocals yellow, but my brain always knows where everything is because of these colors. Okay, next up, let's talk about a few things for the studio. 2 household items that will make you way more productive and efficient are a list and timer. Write down what you want to do in the next session, then put an appropriate time next to it. This will make sure you're not spending more than you need to on a task, because odds are you have 20 things you need to do. Spending 3 hours on one of them, it just isn't worth it. Let this timer keep your session moving. When it comes to cable management, I love these little stick-on open-close hooks. I don't even know what you call them. Look, it's not glamorous, but it's been awesome for running cables around the back of my desk or even under my desk. I also recently invested in a Thunderbolt Hub rather than a USB one. I ran into issues where like my cheap Amazon one just wasn't cutting it anymore. The discs kept ejecting. So I looked online, a lot of people were recommending this company and different models of it, but since I've done this, I've had no issues. Things even load faster, super reliable. Okay, next, keep a folder for when you have creative block. Think back to those writing camps we talked about at the beginning of this video. You could save a lot of those ideas for days when you're just not feeling it. Open up that folder and take one of the songs you've already written and go build on that. Another super easy one that will help you get a distinguishable sound, and again, just have quality really quick, is to sample yourself. When you finish a song, go through that project and take what you can take. Think audio samples, think presets or sounds you used or created. You should always be sampling yourself, and reusing these sounds is gonna help you achieve that identifiable sound you're looking for as an artist. This next one up is going to help the plugin hoarder like myself. Going into a project, limit how many plugins you could use. So for example, 1 saturator, 1 EQ, 1 channel strip, 2 compressors, a reverb, and a delay. Now that's it. You would stick to using those for everything, but this will help the endless scrolling and time wasted sifting through plugins. One thing you could do is try setting up custom macros for effects and things you typically do. So I like to have this 1 knob easy washout kind of thing for buildups. I have another one here that does my tonal uplifters and downlifters. I have one for white noise as well. You could also think to put a utility on your master channel. And for this, we could just press the mono button and turn it on and off. This will give us an instant check of our mix in mono. Are the important things still showing up? Then I'd also recommend keeping something like a mid-range check on your master. And think of this as just like an EQ that removes some of the extreme lows and highs. But I use this all the time to focus on that often crowded mid-range. As much as these 30 changes can help, I'm sure you want to know how you can use this to write better music, make better music. And that's what this next video will do. I want to break down the most addictive trick in songwriting. Tap it on screen, and this will change the way you build your tracks.